Hi everyone, welcome to Untitled Astrology. This is Rajni. Hope you guys are all doing well. And this is the monthly predictions for the month of October 2021 for Gemini Ascendants or Gemini Lagna. Now, if you have number 3 written in the first house of your chart, then you are a Gemini Ascendant or your Lagna is Gemini. Now, this will be a general prediction based on transits and based on Vedic astrology. Now, I'm not talking about the chart, which is your birth chart, where planets are assigned a position in the chart at the time of your birth, and that is static, that remains static. But today we will be referring to the transit chart, where the planets are currently in the sky transiting. Now, my main hope of doing these monthly predictions is to give you some peace of mind by removing the elements of uncertainty from your future. At the same time, also help you prepare ahead for any low periods and help you leverage the good phase for the month ahead. That's my aim. Now we will see how these planetary placements will impact your personality, your temperament, your attitude, your communication and interaction ability with the others, and your family relationship. We'll also talk about your career growth trajectory, business owners, how it will be for you, income and finance in general, harmony in your relationship, health, unearned money and inheritance from various sources, if applicable, and also your luck and debts. So we will try to cover as much possible. Now, those who are new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. So also don't forget to hit the like button. That means also a lot to me. Now, now let's look at the placement of planets. Now we have Sun, Mars, and Mercury in the 4th house in the sign of Virgo. Now, Mercury is your ruler, and it is here in its own house, which is the sign of Virgo, which is a great news for all Gemini ascendants. Now, Mercury in the 4th house is creating a Raj Yoga for you. So after Mercury goes direct, which is after October 18th, you will start to experience the benefits of this Raj Yoga. And I'll talk about Raj Yoga a little later in the video. Now, Sun will move out of the 4th house and will go into the 5th house on October 17th in the sign of Libra, and Sun will get debilitated here. Now, on October 22nd, Mars will be also moving into the 5th house in the sign of Libra, and it will join Sun there. Then we have Venus and Ketu in the 6th house in the sign of Scorpio. Then we have Jupiter and Saturn, both retrograde in the 8th house in the sign of Capricorn. But there is going to be a very big event this month. In fact, I would say big event, not just this month, but this year. And that is Jupiter will go direct on October 11th. And this is going to be a huge positive change for all of us. And then Saturn will go direct on October 18th. Then we have Rahu in the 12th house. Now I'll talk about each planet one by one. And we will see how these planetary placements are going to impact different areas of your life. So first, we will take your ruler, which is Mercury. Now, always the ascendant and the ascendant lord plays a very important role in everyone's chart. If these two are strong, that means you can overcome any hardship easily. But if they are not well placed, that means even though you may have everything in your life, money, wealth, good education, or huge home, you may not be able to get happiness from those things. So in your case, Mercury this month is in its own house, forming a nice Mahapurush Raj Yoga called Bhadra Yoga, and it can't be any better for Gemini ascendants. Now, October is a great month for you. This transit of Mercury forming this Mahapurush Yoga is the best that is happening to you this month. So will all of the Gemini ascendants get to enjoy the good results of this Mercury transit? Well, that depends on how your Mercury is placed in your birth chart. And also some of you may be going through Sade Sati period, or you may be running Saturn time period or Saturn Mahadasha. So you may not get 100% benefit from this Mercury transit. So you may want to keep that in mind as you go along this video. So those who are running Mercury time period or Mahadasha, now you may find that your studies will go extremely well for you. And if you're looking for a good break in job, you will find a good break. You will find a good job. Now you could get promoted at work, and if you're already in a job, so those kind of things, those kind of good results. Now Mercury is in your fourth house, as I said, and it denotes your mother, property, also vehicle. So there's a possibility that some of you could find good benefit through your mother or even through your property deals. Now, if you're a student, you may do well in your studies and may top your class this month, and you will experience overall peace of mind and happiness, and you will be happy with your family members. Again, all this is if your Mercury is well placed. Say your Mercury is not well placed in your birth chart, then your mother's health could get affected, even though you may buy property, you may end up having some trouble or some issues related to that property deal. So you may want to take out your chart and see how your Mercury is placed. Now, Mercury in the fourth house means you will do very well if your career is related to communication, or if you're into, say, doing presentations, or if you're a teacher or any field that you need to communicate to others, you will do very well. Now, Mercury gives you the ability to communicate and make your points reach the others in an effective way where others can grasp what you're saying easily. That's what it means. Now, Sun in the fourth house could give you name, fame, and promotion at work. Career-wise, Sun in the fourth is considered good as it aspects the 10th house of career and profession. It's right opposite. So Sun is a ruler of the third house. So there could be some ups and downs for you this month. Now, talking about Mars in the fourth house. Now, Mars aspects the 7th house of partnership. So this could mean marital as well as business partnership. Because Mars' fourth aspect is a bit harsh, so it could mean that there could be some ups and downs in marital relationships, and you may have to work more hard to keep the balance in the relationship with your spouse or your partner. But it does not mean that it will break your relationship, but it could definitely bring some disturbance in your marital relationship or your love partnership. This is true actually for everyone, not just Gemini ascendants, because Mars will come to this position every year in transit in everybody's life. So don't be afraid. So just take precaution to maintain the balance in the relationship. So be extra careful with your speech. I would say avoid arguments, try to understand your partner and learn to let go of things rather than to pick fight on every small things that you may come across with your partner. Now, Mars aspect on the 10th and 11th house is good for career matters, and Mars will bring gain for you in property matters. Now, if you are an engineer or in real estate business, or if you are a surgeon, firefighter, anything Mars related job, you will do very well in this profession this month. Now, Mars and Sun will move into the 5th house in the later part of the month. Now, 5th house is the house for intelligence, compassion, love and romance matters, speculation. Now, 5th house also indicates the way you plan your future, your long-term view of your future. So malefic planets or cruel planets in this house does not give good results. Our Sun is also debilitated here. So those who are students will find this month a bit tough. Now, those who are in love relationship, this month could prove to be a bit of a challenge, especially those in new relationships, where when I say new, like the situation where love is blind, one tends to not see the weak points of the partner, but that's what the nature intended. Nature does not want us to see the weak points of the other person, because if you start to see all the weak points of the other person, then you cannot love that other person. So I think that's what the nature intended. That's what it does. So, which is good. So when you start to really love a person, then you ignore all their weak points anyway. So it's a good thing not to focus on the weak points. You can call this wisdom, like if you may, and if you like, which is to focus on other person's strengths instead of on weaknesses. Now, you may benefit somewhat from investments this month, but not a great deal, I would say. Now, Mars could bring trouble to you because of your speech. It could make you bad-tempered, so you may need to watch out for that. Be careful of that, I would say. Now, Ketu and Venus in the 6th. From the 6th, it aspects the 12th house, so you may need to watch out for your health. And make sure you don't get into any kinds of fights with anyone. Now, diplomacy is the key word for you this month. Now, use this word throughout the month and be very generous in applying this word in everything you do. Apply diplomacy wherever you can, whenever you can. This is very important. Now, you may need to respect all females in your life, including female colleagues. Now, Venus denotes females and 6th house relates to your job. So make sure you don't create any kind of animosity with your female colleagues at this time. In fact, reach out to them to help as much as you can and be in their good books. Now, I say all this because combination of Venus and Ketu is not that great. Now, this combination brings a bit of aloofness in the relationships. Now, although this combination is great for spirituality, of course. Now, this combination is not great for health matters as well as love relationships, and it could get your mind go off on, off track a bit. Now, when it comes to your finances and wealth, this month will be overall good, and there are chances of some of you traveling abroad. Now, talking about Jupiter, Jupiter rules the 7th house and the 10th house and is placed in the 8th house, forming Neech Bang Raju, which means those of you looking for a new job could find an even better job than what you have right now. Now, for some of you, there could be some transfer of jobs or change in your positions, interdepartmental positions, and you may not be happy about the transfer of the change initially, but you will ultimately realize that everything happened for the good. Now, change is generally better because it stretches you, gives you an opportunity to grow, explore those things that you may not have otherwise explored. And this Jupiter could also bring some unexpected and sudden wealth gain for some of you. Now, health of your spouse may need to be careful. You may need to work hard to maintain good relationship with your in-laws this month. Now, for those whose work is related to insurance matters or tax-related matters, or if you're dealing with, other people's money, you will find this month extremely beneficial with good gain. Expenses, of course, will rise. Now, as I mentioned earlier, if you're into buying or selling your property, this month is a great month for that. Now, good month for buying vehicles as well. But because you have Rahu's aspect on the 4th house, do your due diligence, seek expert advice if you can before you get into dealing with property matters or buying vehicles. Now, let us look at Saturn's position. And Saturn's 3rd aspect falls in the 10th house of your career and profession. Now, 7th aspect falls in the 2nd house of finance, wealth, and family. And Saturn's 10th aspect falls in the 5th house of love and romance, 5th house of education, creativity, and higher knowledge. Now, Mars and Sun will also be going into the fifth house, and with Saturn's aspect falling in the fifth house means it's not so good for love relationship, not so good for education, or not good for making any long-term decisions. Your anger or your laziness could make you take some wrong decisions concerning your long-term goals or long-term planning. So you need to be extremely careful of that. Now, Saturn's aspect on the 10th house, now that will make you work very hard at work. Things at work may not seem like progressing, how much ever effort you put in there. Some of you may feel stagnant at work at this time, and you may feel that something is not right, something needs to change, something is wrong, something wrong is happening at work that you cannot point an exact finger at what the problem is. Actually, in actuality, I would say there's nothing wrong that is happening externally at your work. It's your mind thinking all the negative scenarios, and you may be worrying about your job. That's the thing for you to remember. Now, talking about Rahu. Now, Rahu is not considered that great in the 12th house, but Rahu is good for giving you wealth. Rahu is great for those wanting to travel abroad. Rahu is not considered good for education. One may have to work very hard to get results in their studies. Now, if you're newly in a love relationship, now it could make your heart break due to disappointments, or you may get cheated by your partner, especially if this relationship is fairly a new relationship. But what you experience through Rahu, you always learn a lesson, which will come of use to you in later life. So Rahu does that. So this was the overview for the month of October for all Gemini ascendants. Let me know if you have any comments or suggestions below, and I'll be happy to read your comments. Thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.